Hello, I'm Justin, and today is another Fast Food Friday. I see crossed palm trees, which can only mean one thing. That's right, I'm at an In-N-Out, but not just any In-N-Out. Oh no. I am at the replica of the original In-N-Out. That's right, we are at Baldwin Park, where Harry and Esther Snyder founded In-N-Out Burger all the way back in 1948. As you can see, this replica is actually open every Thursday through Sunday, 11 to 2 p.m. And let's go check it out. Come on. It is currently 1 o'clock. There's the cross palm trees. As an FYI, did you know that all the In-N-Outs, which have these cross palm trees shaped as an X, is actually a movie reference? That's right. If you've seen the 1963 classic It's a Mad World, it's a nod to that classic. It's about 14 treasure hunters who go and search for lost treasure that's buried under the Big W.
Why, that's it! Sure! Look! It's a Big W, I tell you! It's a Big W!
Yeah, it was Harry Snyder's favorite movie, so as a tribute, the cross palm trees are a reference to that 1963 comedy classic. And this is how In-N-Outs looked like all the way back in 1948. As you can see, this In-N-Out does not have the yellow arrow logo because that actually didn't get added to the restaurant until 1954, meaning In-N-Outs back in the 1940s looked like this. Hello.
It's 2014, so you've been to the spot specifically since then, though?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah.
Well, yeah, it's when has this opened as a replica?
2014.
2014,
yeah.
Yeah.
Been here for almost 8 years now.
Yeah, that's when I actually first moved to West Covina.
Oh, really? Nice. So you're local, like maybe 2 miles that way?
Yeah, I lived, about where City of Industry is.
Yeah.
Nice,
nice.
I was like, oh wow, here's the original In-N-Out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really crazy to see how it all started right here. Just a little tiny city, tiny town, and you can drive past it and not even realize this is where the heart of In-N-Out is.
Yeah, and this is what they looked like all the way back in 1948.
Correct, yeah, so almost 75 years ago, In-N-Out was just a little mom and pop's burger shop, just like this, and it's super, super tiny.
Lots changed.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I want to say like the buildings have definitely changed. The menu, not so much. Most of the things have stayed the same, but definitely like the scale of everything and just how many people we serve, they definitely changed a lot. Yeah, it's cool to see. And,
I see you.
How much the area changed and how much In-N-Out changed with it. So this is what we tried to recreate, and this is what it looked like. Back in the day, just 60 years ago, even, there weren't that many streets, not that many roads, not too many houses developed either. It wasn't that much of a developed area. And this is a photo of what the In-N-Out looked like before they bought it too. So even just looking at this, look how barren everything is.
Yeah, so the In-N-Out, was it right here specifically by the freeway wasn't really even here.
Yeah, so actually, it's a good point you brought that up. So it wasn't in this exact location. The first In-N-Out was right across the street where the highway actually is. So when they built the highway, we had to move it over here. Yeah, so it was actually kind of obstructing it.
So close enough, though.
Yeah, very close though. Yeah, and there was a restaurant here for a good 50 years, but it did some moving. All of those are just really long ways saying like this is still where the origins and the start of In-N-Out really got going.
Yeah, and could you tell us about In-N-Out University, which is over there?
Yeah. So In-N-Out University opened up in the 80s, and I'll show you actually who opened it. So, just give you some background. This is Harry Snyder, the founder, and this is Harry Snyder's two sons, Guy and Rich Snyder. And his two sons ended up taking over the company in, I want to say, the mid to late 70s, and they ended up opening up that university over there in the 80s. And so it was more of like a public display to showcase to the public how invested into their workers and how educated their workers are at In-N-Out, how just in general our employees are really well educated and they're really passionate about the company they go to, that they're willing to go to the whole university for it. In reality though, it's just a place to train managers and almost like a corporate headquarters. So they have a lot of important people there doing meetings, and it's where a lot of ideas get shared about the company.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And there's an In-N-Out shop where you could buy stuff, right?
The company store is attached right next to it. Yeah, so it's almost like a gift shop, but like with a lot of memorabilia and merchandise. It's really cool. Yeah, so it was founded by Guy and Rich Snyder, son of Harry Snyder, and the company is still generationally owned. It's a family-owned company, and it's the granddaughter that owns the company.
And Lindsay Snyder, I believe.
Lindsay Snyder. Yeah, so third generation right now.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it's definitely very cool to see how far it's come in just almost 75 years.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, you actually gave out bottles back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day, soda fountains didn't exist yet, so bottle was the way to go. So people would literally pull up after ordering over there. They would come over here, and while they're waiting for their food, they would literally like point on whatever soda they wanted,
Yeah.
and open it for them.
That's so cool. And
Yeah.
coffee machine.
Coffee machine right there. And honestly, the menu hasn't changed too much. It's always since day one,
Yeah.
burgers, fries, and drinks. Nowadays, maybe people want more meat patties and things like that.
Yeah, shakes got added later.
Shakes got added in, I want to say, the 70s as well. The only additions beyond that are maybe like the chilies onto the menu,
Yeah.
the steamers for the cheese fries. Those actually used to be made on the grill top until we finally got the steamers, I want to say, in the late 80s. And yeah, besides that, I want to say like just lemonade got added in the 2000s. So it's very rare for additions to happen on the menu. It stays very true to just burgers, fries, and drinks.
All right, here's a personal question. Do you have to like apply to like get this job specifically to be out here for like 3 hours just to hope guests come? Because it doesn't look like a lot of people are here.
Be a cool position to apply for. But
Yeah.
no, actually, I just work at the restaurant over there. And
Okay.
we just kind of select a couple of
Okay,
us.
so you guys like take turns, like,
Mhm.
okay, it's
We
a
kinda rotate
Thursday, a Saturday.
Exactly.
It's time for someone to be at the display.
Exactly, yeah. So like half your shift, all right, head over to the museum, and then after your break, and go back to the restaurant, and then just work at the restaurant. I work there the rest of the week, so this is my one day where I get to relax a bit more.
That's cool.
Talk to customers, yeah, it is very cool.
Yeah, and one final question, I guess. October 22nd is the big anniversary. Do you guys do anything special that day?
You know what? Good question. Honestly, last year was our first time opening up since the pandemic because we closed for
Yeah.
a year and a half, and we didn't do anything too special. I was actually here that day, and so yeah, we don't have anything organized specifically for that day. I feel like it would be cool though.
Yeah, like even if it's just like a button or
Yeah.
something.
Huh. Yeah, I could read that out with my boss actually. That would be pretty cool. Or
Yeah.
I know we just had a car show last week, so maybe we can convince other people
Okay.
that we know.
Yeah, you have
We're
car shows.
Have a nice little car show, or maybe some cars on display. Because yeah, it is going to be our 75th anniversary.
Yeah,
Sunday,
that's so.
4th.
Is it really this? I think isn't it next year? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
next year's the
2023.
75th.
This
Yeah.
is the 74th.
This year's 74th.
Yeah, I'm very specific on my math.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but yeah, still though, yeah, next year's 75, we are approaching that. And yeah, it's cool to see how much In-N-Out has grown. It
Yeah.
all really started from just a little shack and a little dream, and it's cool. They stayed ambitious about it, and they had a vision for the company, and I think it came true. They made it very, very iconic for California. People think of California, think of In-N-Out. Not many companies have built something so iconic like that.
Yeah, I like the old timey fridge.
Oh yeah, it's really cool. So this is from the 50s. I want to say that Coke box is maybe also from the 50s. Unfortunately, our fridge was working. It still lasted me literally, I think the compressor blew or something, but this is really, really old, and it was still, like the refrigeration inside and everything was still working. Some other things, not everything is original. It's just really hard to find all original supplies, so I'm sure these were found off vintage shops or from restored antique shops. But some things that are original, I believe this cheese slicer is original. I believe this dicer block is original. This dicer block is original. So this is actually how they dice up the potatoes to make the fries. So they'll put the lever right here and throw a potato in. This was in a warehouse for a very long time until they installed it. So yeah, this is super cool.
Is it that much different from today? What's different about
Honestly,
that?
no. It's the same technology. It's just a bit bigger. Potatoes are bigger and sharper. You know, you still have the lever. Nowadays, you just have like two, how do you say this? Like two rods for support. Other than that, same technology, same machine, pretty much. One other thing that's original is this washing machine right here. And I wonder why we have a washing machine in a restaurant. So you could think it's for our clothes. It's meant for clothes. It really is just a washing machine. But no, they used it for potatoes back in the day. So
really?
Inside there, I don't know if you saw it, the farm sink is really, really tiny. So you get a giant sack of potatoes. This will do the job for you. Yeah.
Wow.
So you just throw like maybe half of it in here, get all the dirt and whatever's off of it, and use this little thing as like a spin cycle. Think of it like a colander. Get the water off, and then they used to have to peel them all one by one. But yeah, this is from the 40s, the late 40s, and yeah, we also had this in a warehouse for a very long time. So we used it up.
That is really cool. Yeah, some of these drink brands I don't think are around.
Oh,
anymore.
most of them. Yeah, this is also a long time ago. So like Hires, I doubt exists anymore. Knee High, Nesbits, these were all really, really popular back in the day. And all of these were actually on our original menu. It was 8 drinks. They were on display earlier up there. But yeah, these are like the return crates. It's like an original form of recycling almost. You would leave them right here instead of keeping the bottle, and they would send them back to the companies to pretty much sanitize them and reuse them.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so yeah, most of these don't exist, but yeah, Coke definitely still exists. This is Delaware Punch. We actually, before the pandemic, I believe, I wasn't with the company then, but I believe we used to give samples of this because it still exists.
Oh, really?
In a very weird form, yeah. I believe it's like out of the Midwest, one very specific company makes it like in a can form. And so that's what we used to do for samples. This is one of the few things, one of the few odd brands that still exists.
Yeah, you should try to get that for the 75th. Just sample it.
That would be cool too, huh? You give me a lot of good ideas.
Yeah. Well, send them up to who's ever in charge.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I think we can. You know, the COVID number's gone down, so hopefully people will be fine when we get samples. We have cups, they're not going to share these, but yeah. We didn't really have any exclusivity contracts. That wasn't really like the thing back then. So we had Coke and Pepsi on the menu. I believe, I want to say maybe in the mid to late 50s until around the 60s and 70s, we actually did have an exclusivity contract with Pepsi. So Pepsi used to be our main provider of drinks and all their soft drinks, because when soda fountains became commercially available to put in your restaurants, that was just the contract to make back in the day. And I want to say Pepsi in the late 60s, early 70s. So we had a contract with them for exclusivity, not just for us to use their products, but for us to be the only fast food restaurant in California to use their products, in terms of like a burger shack like this. But unfortunately, they ended up kind of breaking that contract and giving Pepsi products to another fast food restaurant. And so we were just like, okay, well, they didn't honor the contract, so we kind of severed that, and that's when our relationship with Coke started. So I want to say it wasn't until maybe the late 60s, early 70s when we had Pepsi on the menu still.
Yeah, and I love In-N-Out's the only restaurant with 7-Up, it seems like. Why do you have, why is that?
Very cool story behind that, actually. So when I was getting trained here, I was informed, I didn't know this. So yes, we are one of the few Coke products. They have Sprite. Every other place has Coke products, they do have Sprite. We have 7-Up, however, because we have an honorable exclusive contract with them too. So pretty much back in the day, we had 7-Up on our menu. It was here since day one. It was just really popular back in the day. And a lot of these companies like Coke, 7-Up, they're just a city industry over there too. And so one day, unfortunately, well, let me give some background. So on the other side of this freeway, we have something called Hamburger Lane, but we have a lot of meat facilities and warehouses and things like that. And so we have a lot of health inspectors that go there. One day in the early 70s, we had a health inspector checking out our site. I believe he was in the meat department, just our meat department, let's say that. And he was gonna stay overnight just to check pretty much that the temperatures were all regulated and we had the right temperatures for everything. But he ended up leaving like a space heater on after he left in the middle of the night, and it sparked a fire. And so there's actually a giant fire in one of our major warehouses, and at the time we're a very small company and we're kind of freaking out. Like In-N-Out, the heart of the company is on fire, quite literally, and we're freaking out. We're making a bunch of calls. We're just like, we have the fire department on the way, but there's no way we can save all of our product, and we don't know what's going to happen. This is going to devastate the company at the time. And Esther Steiner, the co-founder of the company, ended up calling up 7-Up, and they graciously sent a bunch of their trucks, like their refrigerated trucks, to our site and went to our other warehouses and saved as much of our product as possible. And so it was super cool that they did that. And so to honor them for that great, favor they did us, we want to return the favor and have a contract with them. And so this is going to extend for as long as possible. As long as 7-Up exists, they're gonna be on our menu because
That's
we
really
literally
cool.
saved In-N-Out from burning down.
I had no idea there was like a backstory as to why
Oh,
you had
yeah.
7-Up.
Yeah, so when I was hearing about that, I was like, whoa, that's really cool. They did us, it's more than a favor. They literally saved the company back in the early 70s from a really devastating fire.
Wow, that is really cool.
Yeah.
I'll never look at 7-Up the same way again, in a good way.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So they're really cool. Thanks to
Yeah.
those folks for helping us at a desperate time of need. Because, yeah, it was like, I want to say like 2 or 3 in the morning, and everybody saw the flames, and Esther and Harry Stein, the founders, were, you know, justifiably freaking out. So
Yeah.
they made a couple calls, and these were the people to answer those.
Can I have like one of those flyers?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so this is a little informational, little pamphlet. Yeah, in here, super tiny, you can see the smile sign. Big part of our brand, it's actually part of our uniform to have a smile, so
Yeah.
very important to our uniform.
At least you have a fan out in this heat.
Oh yeah, back in the day, this is all they had. And they were right next to the fryers and the grill, super compact in here back in the day.
Yeah. And they could you talk about the cigarettes?
Yeah, oh yeah, people love cigarettes back then. They actually thought it was normal and healthy to smoke almost everywhere, which it really wasn't. But yeah, different culture back then. That's cool, it's part of history. And yeah, what's cool too is so it has a mirror attached to it. Smoking is like associated with vanity too. So ladies can do their makeup, guys can do their hair, or if I'm working here, make sure I get my hats on right and stuff like that. So, but yeah, you can think of In-N-Out as like a place to indulge. So if that was part of your way to indulge, it was probably many back then too.
And here's another question. Wasn't it true In-N-Out like invented pretty much the drive-through or the concept of it?
Yes. So with that, I want to say, so there are these things called like drive-ins back in the day. People would, you know, we would have the layout with the drive-through lane where people would drive through it, but they would have to order everything at the window. And you know, maybe after that there would be a line queuing up, and so just as a way to regulate the line, yeah, In-N-Out was like one of the innovators in establishing the drive-through speaker box. So the two-way speaker was added, and we can't necessarily speak for the rest of the country. We don't know for sure, but for Southern California, we can say that In-N-Out really did help pioneer the drive-through system like this. So we ended up putting a two-way speaker like one of these, and you actually had to use to physically wire it through the ground right here and attach it to that. And people were a little confused because it was the first time people were seeing drive-thrus like this where you spoke at the speaker box. And it's cool because nowadays, you know, American culture, everybody knows about drive-thrus and everybody knows how to use one. Back in the day, nobody knew how to use it. They didn't trust it. They're like, how are you gonna get my order right? I don't trust this. They're kind of upset at us, really. So, you know, sometimes change is a little scary, but yeah, we really innovated in that field. We even put up a sign. That sign right there was actually to calm customers. I was like, hey, don't worry, we'll take your order at the speaker. You'll know how to use this in 50 years. Like,
You guys were pioneers.
Cars and people coming through the drive-through.
Oh, that was the first customer?
I don't believe it's the first customer. Like, but within the first year of business, this is a good idea of like some of the cars that would come through and how business would look like. So honestly, I want to say the company was successful since the beginning. However, it wasn't very, very popular. So what's impressive is within the first 20 years of business, I believe they opened up, I want to say almost 15 to 18 stores, which is very impressive for one small company to do. It's one man running the company, and he has trust from managers. But the brand really didn't get super popular and iconic, and so I want to say the 80s. That's when everybody started recognizing In-N-Out as the In-N-Out, the place to go, and yeah, that's when we really started seeing that growth in the late 80s and 90s. Yeah, it's cool to see how far it's come. And one more thing to mention, those stores I mentioned, like maybe those first 20 stores, it was when the company wasn't as popular, so we didn't have necessarily as much money or resources, and all the locations were just so much tinier. They were all really similar to this one. Maybe it had 2 lanes, but yeah, maybe so if you find small In-N-Outs, it was designed, just know they were probably from the first couple of In-N-Outs and the whole design they had for the company.
Yeah. What was the year that the cross palm trees got added?
Yeah, I should have a little thing right here. I want to say probably the mid to late 60s. I don't know the specific year, maybe 66 or 67. But pretty much there's actually a story right here. So it's based off the movie
Mad
World. Yeah. So they were trying to find treasure under these cross palm trees. Well, it was a W formation. But we took inspiration from that. The story says pretty much, so Harry Steiner, our founder,
Love that.
besides like the regular logo he had, one of his buddies was like, hey, you should put something on your locations or have a symbol for your company to make it more recognizable.
Yeah.
And so he just thought to his favorite movie, and he was like, okay, I think I can do something with that.
Yeah.
And the palm trees, I put them in the hats and the cups and all the bags. And
Yeah. What was the idea for the arrow?
For the arrow, yeah, good question. So it's honestly, it's almost part of the same. It's almost part of the original logo right here. So this is the original. Back in the day too, the uniform was different. You can see, and the logo right here is different. So the arrow is almost right here. So it was blue and red back in the day. It was just red, white, and blue.
The arrow was always there.
Color scheme.
It was a different color.
Yeah, so the color scheme was different back in the day. It was very American. It's supposed to be red, white, and blue. This is like right outside of wartime and everything. But, so it's almost like another play on it. It just has a lot more contrast. It's more striking. But the arrow, yeah, it kind of was there. And then they just made it sharper and, just more emphasis on the shape of it.
Interesting. I didn't realize it was always there.
Oh yeah, no. After a while, I started looking at this like, oh, it was kind of there since then. Yeah, just a different color. This one just has more contrast. It's more striking.
Cool.
But so the inspiration, the inspiration for that was just they had it kind of not a full redesign, but they definitely when his sons took over the company, they had people responsible for kind of modernizing it out. So they changed the logo, got the red aprons, and they finally had enough money and resources to really invest in bigger facilities. So that's when they started having indoor dining. Because back in the day, it was just a drive-thru and you're on your merry way, or you could pull over and eat, or they had picnic tables. But it wasn't until the 80s when they started doing like the indoor dining and hosting people. And so that's what really changed. And that's what people think of In-N-Out when they think of it today too.
That's cool. Well, thank you so much. You've been a great tour guide.
You asked a lot of like really great questions. You gotta come in here with the right questions.
Yeah. That Gabriel was so nice. He gave so many great stories. I didn't even have to do much of the talking. I just gave him an interview. At least here's some more customers coming in to appreciate it. Yeah, so by all means, if you're here from Thursday to Sunday from 11 to 2 and you happen to be at Baldwin Park, California with nothing to do, come by the original In-N-Out. It's a travel back through time, and it will make you appreciate this great Southern California fast food chain even more than you already did, and I already love it. As you remember, he did say that there is In-N-Out University over here, which was founded back in the 80s, so I'm gonna visit it, see if I could get some merch before I have to head off to another event I'm scheduled to go to today. In-N-Out University, where you could learn all the complexities of the double-double and perfect the fine art of fry cooking. Company store, so beautiful. I love that the handles are actually the In-N-Out logo, the arrows. I'm really drawn to the chute. We're just there. I got a pool float. Can you imagine being in a fry pool float?
For something else. Here you go.
Alright, and that was the In-N-Out store. Not too big, but they have some really cool stuff like beanies. Look what I got. If you haven't guessed, I got shoes. Meaning to get these for a while, and I thought this is as good a time as any to get them. Put these on right now. Alright, not too shabby, I should say. I'm gonna try to wear these every time I go to In-N-Out now. Okay, And of course, it would not be a trip to In-N-Out Burger if I didn't go and get an In-N-Out Burger. I mean, it is technically before noon, which means it's still breakfast, but, you know, in the words of Pulp Fiction's Jules,
hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
so let's go inside and get a burger. As you can see, the In-N-Out is pretty much a typical In-N-Out, but it's not really a typical In-N-Out. Besides its cool location, this is the same In-N-Out that the late great Huell Hauser visited when he did his California's Gold on In-N-Out.
Okay, we're inside In-N-Out Burger number 1. Jack, I'm going to leave you for a few minutes and go to work over here. I've got an appointment to hook up. I assume you're the manager.
I am.
Your name is?
Steve Wyman.
Okay, now this is exciting to be filming inside In-N-Out because that doesn't usually happen, does it?
Never happens.
So, this In-N-Out, besides being in the location of the very first In-N-Out, can always claim that, you know, that Huell Hauser walked in this building and he captured In-N-Out for all of history. Okay, I think I'm gonna end the show right here because as you can see, I've got a double to enjoy. But I hope you really enjoyed this episode. I know I have. It's one of my favorite videos I think that I'm making or that I have made. I love this place. I love In-N-Out, and I hope this inspires you to maybe check out the Baldwin Park In-N-Out where it all started. Until next time, that is what a hamburger is all about.
In-N-Out, In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger is all about. In-N-Out, In-N-Out, that's what it's all about. In-N-Out, In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger's all about.
Near the In-N-Out Burger.
Those are good burgers, Walter.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.